confident student. My name is Confident. Welcome to our revision session of the Mathematics N2 question paper. And this particular paper was written in April 2021. And in this section, I'm going to bring some tips and some strategies, some concepts, and some ideas that you can use as you prepare for your final exams. And in this particular section, it might be that you've already written the paper or you are about to write your Mathematics N2 and you want to use this as your revision session. I will encourage you to grab hold of it so that you can benefit from these. Now, in this particular section, I want to bring some suggested solutions for you so that when you look at or when you approach your own exam, it will be much easier for you to answer it. And trust me, if you use more of these revision papers, it will be actually easier for you to face your exam. Remember guys, you need to subscribe to our channel, you need to like our channel so that we can bring more of these videos for you. Now in this section, it is a full revision section of the paper that was written in April 2021. And if you want to see how the whole paper was about and the answers to it, then I will encourage you to go through this whole lesson so that you can benefit from each and every idea that I bring forward. Now, as I said, this paper, as you can see, it was written just to say this is a Department of Higher Education and Training paper, and it is a national certificate. It's Mathematics N2, and you can see the date, and it was written in the morning. X paper means morning, on the 1st of April 2021, and the time of the paper was between 9 o'clock and 12 o'clock. It's a 3-hour paper, and then it says the requirements for this paper. You need 2 sheets of graph paper, and you'll be provided these. You don't have to bring these, you'll be provided in the exam. And then it says calculators may be used, and I will also have my own calculator. This is the calculator that I will be using. It's a Casio FX82ES, but whatever calculator you use is also acceptable. And then says this question consists of 7 pages and a formula sheet of 2 pages. So if we can go quickly through those pages just for interest. So we have got the second page, which is the instruction page. We're going to go through that. And then we have the third page, which is our question number 1. And then it also is out of 15, you can see. Then our question number 2, it goes to be out of 20. Then we've got our question number 3, which was out of 14 marks. Question number 4, it was out of 19 marks. And question number 5 was out of 16 marks. And question number 6 was out of 16. Now the total mark allocation of this paper is out of 100 marks. And as they said, there are two pages of formula. Then you've got the first page, and the first page is actually this one, and then you've got page 2, which is that one. So this is how the whole paper was, and those who sat for this paper, we will see how they managed to go, or they managed to approach this paper as we go through it. What type of a paper was it? Was it a fair paper? Was it a difficult paper? Or it was an easy paper for one to pass with a distinction? So yes, this is the paper that was written. And as I said, if you want to benefit from the whole section of this paper, what I will encourage you to do is to subscribe to our channel so that every time we bring in some of these papers, you'll be able to benefit from them. I might not be able to post it once because of size and everything, but if you want to benefit from the whole paper, remember to subscribe, and also just to maintain the site so that we can give you more of these. sometimes new papers like this, we give them just at a minimum cost to you, and if you can just purchase this paper to get a full answers and full answers of this paper, then it will also help us to bring more of these videos. In other ways, you are trying to support so that we can post more of these videos, as maintaining sometimes the site, the websites and everything does cost a lot of cash. So as you contribute towards purchasing the whole section of this paper, you are actually helping others to bring more of these videos so that there can be more revisions. So alright, let us look at this paper. These are the instructions, and in these instructions let us look at a few things that is very, very important for you learners. And actually, let me just go through this to say, most of the time there is a code for each paper. So this was the code that was used for this paper for April, and then it says Department of Higher Education and Training, Republic of South Africa, National Certificate Mathematics N2, time is 3 hours, and the mark allocation is 100 marks. Let us look at the instructions. The first instruction says answer all the questions, which we're going to do. And then it says read all the questions carefully, and then number the answers according to the numbering system used in this question paper. So don't come up with your own numbers. And then start each question on a new page. That's what you need to do every time you finish a question and you want to go from question 2 to question 3. You start on a new page. But the subsections like question 2.1, 2.2, you can still answer them on the same page, because that is question 2. But when you move from question 2 to question 3, you need to start on a new page. And then it says use only blue or black pen. So remember, Tipex is not allowed in your exam. So whenever you make an error, don't use your Tipex. You have to just cross out and start again. Or if ever it's just question, for example, let's say you're answering question 2 and you made an error in question 2.3, you just need to scratch out where you made the error. So you scratch out that question 2.3 only. You don't have to start afresh the whole question, and then you write again that question that you made an error. Or if it's just a line that you made an error, just cross out neatly and then continue with your working. But avoid Tipex and avoid using markers. There is no reason, or there is no need for you to color your book or to use different pens, because you'll be penalized. So the only pens allowed, please, it is blue or black. And then it says write neatly and legible, meaning be very neat with your work, and your handwriting has to be clear. And also what I've discovered these days is there is these erasable pens. I think you've seen them, a blue or black erasable pen. So I think it is a good way these days of getting hold of that, because even if you make an error, you can erase just like a pencil. So it makes your work even neater. So that is what was on the instructions, and without wasting time, let us dive into the revision section of this particular paper. So this was question number 1, and in question number 1 it says state whether the following equation is true or false. And this question, as you can see, it was 1 mark, and I'm just going to work on it directly from here. It says you need to state whether state whether the following equation is true or false. So you just needed to state that. Now it says log and base of a of b, or log b in base a is equal to log b in base c over log c in base a. This is actually true, because it is how you change from one base to another. Actually, that's the law of log, to say if I'm given, for example, log base 2 of 3 and I want to change it to base, let's say base, choose any number. Let's say I want to change it to base 6. So when I want to change it to base 6, this becomes on top, which is 3 over, so it will be log 3 over, and then the 2 becomes bottom, which is log base 6 over 2. So now let's test that with a calculator so that you can see that this does maintain that. So what I'll be having is, if I say log in fraction, then I say log in base 6 of 3 over log in base 6 of 2, and then the answer I'm getting 1,5849. So but if I say, just to check if this maintains, if I say log base 2 of 3, I must get the same answer. Log base 2 of 3, I must get that 1,58, which is 1,584. So it means this is correct. Now if this is correct, it's the same thing. They wanted to change from base A to base C, so the B is on top and the A is at the bottom. So this statement is true. So that's why I said that particular statement was true. Now that was question 1. Question 1.2 at this stage says simplify the following without using a calculator. And the moment they say I must not use a calculator, unfortunately I get the temptation that I first need to find out my answer with the calculator. So what I do, I grab hold of my calculator and I enter, if it's possible to enter whatever I'm given, I enter that. So I'm given log shift, that is how you press E. So you say shift that, and they say power 1 of 1, then it's minus log 4 in 16 in base 4, and then that is log in 2 in base 4 minus log 32 in base 4. So this is what I'm having there, and the answer, you can see that the calculator is actually giving me a 1. So you need at least to know where you are working towards. So we need to get a 1 from all the statement, and you can see that it's 4 marks and you don't want to lose those marks. So use your calculator, get the final answer, work towards the answer, but don't show that you were using the calculator in all of that. So now if I can in this way, just grab hold of my page here to say, if I can check back there, it was log E of 1, so I've got here minus log 4 of 16 all over, and then I've got log 4 of 2, and then it's minus log 4 of 32. So this is what I have. Now the first thing first is log 1. You need to identify a few things. There is always some things that they will give you. For example, any log 1 is equal to 0. It doesn't matter the base here, but log 1 is equal to 0. It can be any number. You can test it with a calculator and just say log, maybe put any base. You see, I'm putting any number and then I'm putting a 1 there. It will give me a 0. So log 1 is 0. So if it's E there, it means it will still become to 0. So you have got 0 there, which they will mark you for that. And then now let us look at log 4 of 16. Now what you need to recognize with log 4 of 16, you can express 16 in terms of 4, and if you use a calculator, you'll see that square root of 16 is equal to 4, or 4 squared is equal to 16. So which means you can say log 4 of 16 is equal to log in base 4, and then you have got 4 squared. Alright, so that's what you're having there. And the next thing you can do is also to express 32 in terms of 4. Now if you look at 32, let's try with the calculator there to say what is 4 cubed. We are actually getting 64, and so if we can't express that in terms of log 4, alright, so let's try to express everything in terms of log 2. So if log 4 is not working, we can try to express everything in terms of log 2, because that 32 is the one that is limiting us. So let's try 16. If you see 16, 2 to the exponent 4, you can see that it gives me 16. And if I say 2 to the exponent 5, you see that it gives me 32. So we're going to express everything in terms of 2. So it will be log base, here it will be 2 to the exponent 4, and then log base 4 of 32, you saw that it was log base 4 of 2 to the exponent 5. So we're going to put everything into that. So let's do that. It will be, remember, log e of 1 now is 0 minus log base 4 of 2 to the exponent 4 over log base 4 of 2, you see we've got also 2 there, minus log base 4 of 2 to the exponent 5. So what I've just done is I have managed to express everything in terms of log 2 and log 2. So what I do is then I continue to use my laws of logarithms. It says if I'm given let me just use something different. If I'm given this, for example, log base a of b to the power of m is equal to this power, it can drop down here so that I've got m log base a of b. So you see that the power can come before the power can come before the log as it becomes m. So it's m log, which means m times. So the same thing here, if I can have this 4, it can come down there, and then I've got this 5, it can also come down there, and that it can simplify. So if I do that, I will have minus 4, remember 0 becomes 0, so minus 4 log base 4 of 2 over, then I've got log base 4 of 2 minus 5 log base 4 of 2. So that's what I'm having. Then if I continue that, you can see now that I have something that is similar at the bottom. I've got log base 4 of 2 and I've got log base 4 of 2. So I can choose to factorize that at the bottom. So what I will have at the top, it will still be minus 4 log base 4 of 2 all over. Now I'm going to take out what is common, which is log base 4 of 2. You can see that that is common, and it's more like I'm dividing log base 4 of 2 into log base 4 of 2. So it will be like I'm saying log base 4 of 2 over log base 4 of 2 and minus 5 log base 4 of 2 over log base 4 of 2. So that is what I took out. So that will cancel to give me a 1, and that will cancel to remain with a 5. So that's what actually will be happening. So I will have 1 minus 5 in this case, and then this log base 4 of 2 will cancel that log base 4 of 2. And then when it's like that, it then moves on to say I've got minus 4 at the top there, so I will have minus 4 here, minus 4 all over. Now 1 minus 5 also is minus 4. So minus 4 divided by minus 4 is 1 over 1, which is equal to a 1. And remember the answer that we got previously, the answer here was a 1. So that is how you can simply get your 4 marks. It was a good 4 marks, which you're supposed to get advantage of. Again, the question said simplify without using a calculator. So you're getting your 4 marks if you did that. Now let us look at question 1.2.2. And then 1.2.2 is 3 marks. Again, you are not supposed to use a calculator in this particular question. Now, because of the complexity of this question, let me try to work from it directly here so that I don't make errors, because sometimes you might find that while trying to copy it, I make some errors, because if you can look at it, it's a bit complicated in a way. Now look at this. It says cube root and fourth root, and I'm given that and I'm given that. It is a good question, 3 marks. Now let us work from the outside in. We can work from inside out. Actually, I usually advise students to work from inside out. So let us start by looking at this inside like that. So what you have is, you must remind yourself, if you are given that, it means, in a way, if there is no number, it means there is a square root there, so it is power half. So now if you are given this, it means you are given that with power 1 over 3. So if you are given a 4 like that, which is fourth root, that's what it's saying. So you put a bracket and say 1 over 4, and so on and so on. So if you're not given anything, you must know that it is a square. So you can see that they didn't give us anything there, it means it's a square. A 3 means 1 over 3, and a 4 there means 1 over 4. So just remember, that's what we're going to be using in that. So now if we're going to work this thing from the inside out and in parts, so that we can now get the whole answer correct. So let's start from the inside out with that fourth. So if I say fourth root, in a way, sorry about that, if I say fourth root of x24 y12, this is same as brackets x to the power of 24 y to the power of 12. Now remember, it's 1 over 4. So when you do that, it will then mean, according to the laws of exponents, this 1 over 4 will multiply each exponent there. So you will have x24 times 1 over 4 y12 times 1 over 4. So this will then simplify. 24 times 1 over 4, you can use a calculator there to say 24 times 1 over 4. You can see it gives me a 6, and 12 times 1 over 4, it will give me a 3. So the other one will be x to the power 6 and y to the power of 3. So that is what we are having inside here. So what about after we've removed the inside? Now we are saying the outside, it will remain with that 3, and you are going to have now x to the power of 6 y to the power of 3, because we've just removed the first inside fourth root. Now we're dealing with the square root, the cube root. So we do the same thing. It will be x to the power of 6 y to the power of 3. Now it is to the power 1 over 3, and as I said, it multiplies, this 1 over 3 multiplies each and every exponent. So it's 6 times 1 over 3 in there, and y to the power of 3 times 1 over 3. That is what actually will be happening. So this 3 times 1 over 3 times 6, you get a 2. 1 over 3 times 3, you get a 1. So you'll have x to the power of 2, y to the power of 1. So that is what you'll be having at the top. So this one there will be x squared and y to the power of 1. Now, having done that one, you move on to the bottom part. The bottom part is actually even more simplified now because we are still using the same concept. Now, if I can write it again, so you have got the cube root of x3 and y6. You see that one? If you simplify it, you will have that bracket with 1 over 3, remember? So you've got now x3 and you've got y6. So if you open that bracket, the 1 over 3 again multiplies each and every exponent. So you've got x3 times 1 over 3 and then y6 times 1 over 3. Remember, these are exponents multiplying, so you must write them at the top. So 3 times 1 over 3 you get a 1, 6 times 1 over 3 you get a 2. So this is x1, y2. That's what you have in this particular one. Then the other one, as you can see, they didn't write any part. So okay, this one, just to say, you have got x1 and y2. So now in the other one, they just wrote like this as square root, like without, they just wrote it like this, and then they've got x4, y4. This is same as saying square root, so there is a hidden 2 there. So you do that and you put 1 over 2. By default, it means it's a 2. So you've got x4, you've got also y4. And when you work on it, it means you'll be multiplying similarly. It will be x 4 times 1 over 4, y 4 times 1 over 4. And then if you multiply 4 times 1 over 4, you get a 1. Again, you get a 1. So you've got x1 and actually I'm making an error there. It's not 4, it's actually 2 in this case. I hope you saw that one. I'm not supposed to multiply by 4, 1 over 4. I'm supposed to multiply by 1 over 2, power 1 over 2, such that 4 times 1 over 2 is a 2, and then 4 times 1 over 2 is a 2. So it's x2 and it's y2. So that's what I'll be having here as x2 and y2. So guys, this is how this simplifies. So now, how do you approach it as you do in your exams? So this is the working that you need to show as you are working, because it's part of your working. And now, to get it all together as one thing, now you need to bring it in. I'm just going to erase this. You need to bring it in now as a complete thing to say, therefore, this is equal to, after showing us that working at the top, remember, it was x2, this is what we had at the top, y1 over, at the bottom we had that, which is x1, y1 times, and then the other one, it was x2 and y2. Then when you simplify that, you are going to have to cancel. You can see the x2 there. We can cancel the x2, and the y1 can cancel the y1. So on top, if you have got nothing, don't write 0 or nothing. It means x2 cancel x2 to get a 1, y1 cancelled y1 to get a 1. So you've got 1 over, and then you've got x1 and y2. So this then becomes your final answer. Alright, so you can quickly test your solutions just to check if ever you were doing the right thing. So what you do, as I always say, for testing purpose, testing, what you do, choose any value of x and y. For example, say x is equal to 2 and say y is equal to 3. You can just choose any value, and then you input it in the first expression, and then you input it also, you substitute in the first one, you substitute in the last one. So let's start with the easier one. Here is the last one and see what we get. So the last one was 1 over x1 y2. So if I do that and see what my answer was going to be, it is 1 over x, remember, is 2, so it's 1 over 2. Now it will be times y2, so it will be 3 squared, because y, I said y is 3, so it's 1 over 18. So this one will give me here 1 over 18. I must get the same answer on this other side when I put x is equal to 2 and y is equal to 2. So see how you need to be careful how you enter this one now. So it's shift cube root, there is the cube root, and then after that I've got another shift, there is that fourth root of x. Remember, x is 2 to the power of 24, then you play forward, times 3 to the power of 12, right? So it was like that, and then you play forward until the bottom, and then you have got again shift cube root, x is 2 to the power of 3, right? And then I have times y is 3 to the power of 6, then play forward, and then you make sure that the multiplication is outside that square root, so it will be root x, which is 2 to the power of 4, all right, times, and then it's 3 to the power of 4. So that is what I'm having if I did put it right there. So if I say equal to, it must give me 1 over 18. So you see, I'm getting a different answer here, which is 1 over 54. So which means there is an error somehow. Either I made an error in my simplification, where, let me just check it again, if ever I did enter this correctly. There is a 3, there is a 4, then x is 224, y is 312, all right, so that is fine there. And then at the bottom there is a 3, 2, 3, and then y6 times, which is still fine, and then 2, 4, y4. So the answer there is 1 over 54. So this is what I use now to check out where might I have I might have made a mistake. So knowing your multiplication table, so look at 18. I got 1 over 18. If I just say 54 divided by 18, you can see that the answer is not very far, it's 3. So somehow there is a part where I made a mistake. So unfortunately, as I was erasing, I don't have any thing to check back. But if I can look at this working that I did here, for example, cube root here, the 3 cancel to get a 1 and the 6 cancel to get a 2, so this was correct. It was x1 already. I think I see where the error was. If you check carefully, look at my simplification here, because this part, so you see the importance of testing. There is the part, look at this part, which was this part, and this part is the one that was at the bottom here, and I was supposed to write the power of y was 2 and I wrote 1 there. So if I go backwards and change that to become a 2, everything now will change. So let us correct that now in a moment, the one at the bottom, because that is where things actually went wrong. So I was supposed to have instead x1 y2 times, and then the other one was x2 and y2. Are you seeing that? Now if I can cancel out the x2, again just to use a different marker, the x2 cancelled the x2 like previously, and then the y, so we have got 4 y's at the bottom, so these 2 will cancel to remain with 1, and on top there will cancel to have 1. So in this case we're going to have, yes, same answer at the top, nothing has changed, but at the bottom things have changed. You have now in here x1, and then there are 3 y's, which is y3. I think you see that. So now if I then take a calculator using the same thing of my x and the y, remember x is 2, y is 3, so it will be 1 over x, remember, is 2 to the power of 1, which doesn't change anything, times y is 3 to the power of 3. If I do this, now I'm getting 1 over 54. So that is what I do to check if I made an error with my simplification. So then this answer now becomes correct. So that is how I can simplify something that was actually supposed to be wrong. I correct it along. So as I said, this was 3 marks. So if you did it correctly, you are supposed to get your full 3 marks. Alright, now let us move on to look at question 1.3. Now question 1.3, it says use the laws of logarithm to calculate the value of x given that. So we're using laws of logs, and we need to get 4 marks there, and we are given x is equal to, so we're supposed to use the laws of logarithms. So if I can do this on a clean page, so here what I have is they're saying x is equal to, so I've got x is equal to, and I've got 4th root of 265, so it is the 4th root of 265, and it's times 0.32 squared in bracket 0.32 squared. All right, and then it's all over, remember they said I must use laws of logarithms, 14.3. so let's just check if ever I did everything right. Okay, so it's 4 marks as I said. So how do you approach this? Already they're saying x is equal to, so the first thing you need to do is to introduce logs on both sides. So you just say log x here, you just introduce logs is equal to, and then on the other side again, what you do on the left you do on the right hand side, and then you also say log, and then you just write it as is 4th root of 265, and then you say times 0.32 squared, and then it's all over 14.3. so the way you write it though, you must just do like that so that the division line doesn't cover the log. So this is that, or the log can actually be like more like you're having here your log like this. So this is log that fraction, and is that just that is not aligned properly there. So now when you've done this, what you need to do, because you've introduced logs on both sides, you need to use the laws of logarithms. So we are going to say now